right?
Yes.
In the Negotiable Instrument Act, we had already discussed what are the different types of negotiable instruments. I have discussed all the different types of negotiable instrument like a promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. Their characteristics, respective characteristics, are already discussed. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you
Yes,
are
sir.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the previous class, what we had discussed, particularly in the Negotiable Instrument Act, we had discussed the definitions of promissory note, bills of exchange, and a check, and their essential characteristics. All these I have discussed, right? Apart from that, we had also discussed the various parties to all these bills of exchange, promissory notes, and your check. Or you have any doubt in them?
No, sir.
Okay. So please, just as a what a part of recapitulation, I am asking you, who are the parties to a promissory note? Please be
Sir?
quick. Who are parties to the promissory note?
Maker or drawer, pay holder, endorser, endorsee.
Okay, so all these you understood well, or anywhere you have any doubt?
No
No,
doubt,
sir.
sir.
Okay, good. Then parties to a bills of exchange,
Drawer, drawer, pay.
Three party.
three party. Another also can be the holder, and endorser there. Endorsee can be also there. Okay. Then parties.
Sir, sir, please summarize in briefly, then it will be good, sir. Just.
Uh, okay. You see, in a bills of exchange, uh, there are what are several parties. One is a drawer, the person who draws the bill, and a drawee is the person on whom the negotiable instrument has been drawn and who is directed to make the payment. In this case, you can refer to the bank particularly, or the acceptor is also there, and payee will be there. Okay, the payee is the person who will receive, who is supposed to receive the amount in a bill of exchange. Again, this payee can also held this instrument with him till the date of presentation. Otherwise, he can also transfer it to another person, and another person who will have this, he can also be a holder of the bills of exchange. Okay, and then endorser, that means the person who transfer the bill of exchange in favor of another, and the person in whose favor it will be drawn shall be called as the endorsee. Okay, so these are the few parties which are concerned in a bills of exchange. In the check, there is a drawer, drawee, and a pay, and there is also the holder and endorsee and endorser. All these same parties, no difference is there. Now we'll understand what is the dishonour. What is dishonour of a bills of exchange? Dishonour means particularly what you understand dishonour. Yes.
Disrespect.
Good. That means the liability of the parties to a negotiable instrument generally arises when there is a question of a payment arises, right? Uh, Particularly, the liability of the parties to a negotiable instrument, it will arise at the time of a particularly payment, and at the time of a payment, there is a either failure of the payment by the insufficient fund, or there is a failure of a payment due to certain other conditions. Other conditions may be your acceptance, maybe some technical defects, or maybe mismatch of the signature. So various reasons can be there. But totally, that means what dishonor means, it is what non-performance, particularly it is the non-performance of the negotiable instrument. That means whoever the parties to the bills of exchange, if they will not perform their duties, their obligations, then it is called your dishonor of a bills of exchange. That is bills. It may be your bills of exchange, it may be your promissory note, or it may be the check. Okay, if you'll go according to the definition, then a negotiable instrument is said to be dishonor when the drawee refuses to accept the same or make the payment thereon. Right? That means a refusal to make the payment or refusal to accept. That means these are the an instrument may be dishonored by the two modes. What? One is dishonored by non-acceptance and another is dishonored by non-payment. So let us discuss the first one, that is the dishonor by non-acceptance. The bills of exchange is dishonored by non-acceptance by what are different situations may be there, and we'll discuss all the situations. First, if the drawee does not accept the bill within 48 hours from the time of a presentment through it is though it is duly presented for the acceptance. That means what? Whenever the bills of exchange becomes due, okay, when the bills of exchange becomes due on the due within the 48 hours of the due date, drawee is the drawee is supposed to present the bill for acceptance. So if the drawee does not accept the bill within 48 hours, then it will be considered as it is dishonor for non-acceptance. Another condition is there where there are several parties, that means several drawees, all of them do not accept. That means suppose a few of them accept it and a few of them do not accept. Then also it is dishonor due to non-acceptance. And when the presentment for acceptance is excused and the bill is not accepted, that means suppose the other parties, they will tell that there is no necessity of a presentment of the bill, so please don't present the bill. That means it is not acceptance. Another point is that if the drawee is incompetent to the contract, incompetent, that means in the Indian Contract Act we had discussed who are the incompetent parties: person of unsound mind, then your minors, and if it is declared by any other act to be incompetent. Yes.
Rohit, please mute yourself. Everyone, please mute yourself.
Don't make noise in the class. Class.
स्टैंडर्ड बोला बात में गाली देके सुनेंगे
शांत एरिया सर
सुबह से
Okay. So the parties, that means when the drawee is incompetent to contract, that means if it is found at the date of the honor of the bill, if it is found that the drawee is incompetent to contract, then it will be also dishonored on the ground of non-acceptance. And when the drawee gives a qualified acceptance means you can tell it as a conditional acceptance. Okay, actually it should be unqualified because it is unconditional. But if the acceptance is made with a condition, then it is also dishonored by non-acceptance. And if it is found that the drawee is a fictitious person means actually it is not reasonable to find out the exact person. Okay, then also it is a dishonor by non-acceptance. So these are the few cases where the a bill is dishonored on the ground of non-acceptance. Now we'll discuss the second one, which is dishonor by non-payment. So a promissory note or bill of exchange or check is said to be dishonored by non-payment when the maker of the note or the acceptor of the bill or the drawee of the check makes default in payment upon being duly required to pay the same. And an instrument is also dishonored by non-payment when the presentment for the payment is excused and the instrument when overdue remains unpaid. That means that these are the three scenarios. Either the party will not make it the present on the date of the presentment, or it will be denied the payment of the payment of the instrument is denied, or it is overdue and remains unpaid. So these are the three scenarios. Under these three scenarios, the instrument, that is what negotiable instrument, is said to be dishonored by non-payment. Is that right? So now we discussed all the different varieties of dishonor of the check. So in the syllabus, I have gone through the syllabus. In the syllabus, it is there is in your syllabus regarding the what that is various parties. Then noting and protesting is not there in your syllabus. Finally, discharge of the instrument. Now we'll go through the that is discharge of a bill. Okay. So now we'll discuss the discharge of an instrument. That instrument may be your bill of exchange or promissory note or check. An instrument is said to be discharged when all the rights contained thereon are terminated and the instrument ceases to be negotiable. That means the time when your negotiable instrument ceases to become negotiable, or all the parties to the contract fulfilled their obligations, then it is called discharge of an instrument. There are a few modes of a discharge of an instrument. Let us discuss them one by one. First is by payment in due course. First one is by payment in due course. Here you see the instrument is discharged by payment made in due course by the party who is primarily liable to make the payment, or by a person who is accommodated in case of the instrument. Of course, accommodation of a bill is not in your syllabus. That is why we had not discussed it. Then the payment of the amount due on instrument must be paid, made, or after the maturity to the holder of the instrument. Either maker or acceptor is to be discharged. Then a payment by a party who is a secondary liable does not discharge the instrument again. Now the primary party which is concerned, if he will make the payment, then there is no need of the payment by the secondary party, right? Next one is your payment of interest. If any rate of interest is specified in the promissory note or the bill of exchange, then interest shall be calculated on the principal amount at the specified rate which is mentioned from the date of the instrument till the date of realization of the amount. But where no rate is specified, then it will go through the Negotiable Instrument Act. Then it is supposed to make the payment at the rate of 18% per annum. Okay. Previously it was 6%, and now it has been increased to 18%, and it will be calculated on the basis. Next one is your by a party. Just a minute, some problem arose.
Sir, can you explain the payment of interest once again?
Okay, actually, you see, if on the instrument, if the rate of interest has been already mentioned, that then the rate of interest may be calculated at that particular rate which is specified, and this interest shall be paid from the date of the maturity till the date of the payment. Actually, exactly why? Because sometimes the payment is deferred. If the payment is deferred, say for it is 10 days or 20 days like that, then the rate of it should be paid according to the rate of interest which is provided. Otherwise, if nothing has been provided and there is a late in the uh, payment, okay, if the payment is deferred for a time, it may be suppose 20 days or 30 days like that. At that time, if we'll go to the Negotiable Instrument Act, then previously it was 6% and now it has been made 18%. That means the rate of interest shall be calculated at the rate of 18%. And what is the period? That is the date of maturity till the date of the payment. For that period only, we need to calculate that rate of interest and it should be paid by the party. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll discuss how it can be discharged by party primarily liable. If the maker of the note or acceptor of a bill become its holder after its maturity in his own right, then what will happen? There is no need to make the payment. You see, suppose I have drawn that bill, okay, and if I have acquired that bill once again, that means the question of making the payment does not arise. Are you clear or not able to follow here?
No, sir.
Suppose you see, you have given a check to me, right? You have given a check to me, and I have endorsed that check to one of my friend, from whom I need I should get something. Then again, from that person, you have acquired that check. Now you have received the check. Do you understand? Then there
Yes.
is no need to make the payment to you, because now
Sir.
you are the holder. Now you are the holder of the same check. Yes.
Sir, not understanding, sir, once again.
Okay. I am giving you one example. Suppose you
सर
see.
एक बार हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, हिंदी या फिर ओडिया as you will.
Why you are not comfortable in English?
सर थोड़ा सा एग्जांपल हिंदी और इंग्लिश, हिंदी या फिर लोकल लैंग्वेज ज्यादा समझ आता है इसलिए.
You see, the medium of instruction is strictly in English. That is why we should try to understand in English, because you are supposed to write in the exam also in English, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I am making you again comfortable. You see, suppose what I have borrowed 5,000 from you. In this respect, particularly, what will happen? Suppose I have given you a check of 5,000, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
You have given that check to one of your friends. Why? Because from your friend you have borrowed 5,000. Now your friend become the owner of that check. Again, suppose that friend of you is also a friend of mine. And what happened? Due to certain other any other transaction, now I have got that check from your friend. Now I had issued that check and I have received that check. So
Yes.
if that check come to my hand, that means it is assumed that the discharge of check has been made. How? Because I am not supposed to make the payment to myself.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And
Understood.
there is no other party to claim any amount, right? So that
Yes.
is why
Yes.
that is why the now the bill or the parties to the bill are discharged of their obligations, right?
Yes.
Now the third point, that is by express waiver. Express waiver means what? When the holder of a negotiable instrument at the time of a maturity or after the maturity, without any conditions, renounce that means what I express that in writing, that I have no claim on this negotiable instrument. I'm giving you one example. Suppose I have received a check from you, and on the date of the maturity, suppose you have given me a PDC, post-dated check, and on the date of its presentment, or even I have not presented it in the bank, and after 2 or 3 days of its maturity, if I will give in writing to you that I have no intention to present this check in the bank, and I have no interest to take the money from this from this check, then it is called what that is discharge of the bill by express waiver. But there should not be any condition. Whenever I will give in writing that I don't have any claim over this check, but I should not write any condition. If I will not write any condition and I have renounced that in writing, then it is called discharge of a bill by express waiver. Is that clear?
Sir, once again.
Once again, okay. You see, suppose you have received a check from me, okay, and its date of maturity is 31st December. Either on 31st December or after that, December 31st, you can say suppose 2nd or 3rd January, but you have not presented that check in the bank for the payment. If you will give in writing to me that you don't have any intention to present this check, or you have no interest to receive any money against this check without any condition, then it is called discharge of a bill by express waiver. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one is your by cancellation. So by cancellation, how the bill will be discharged? You see the party, that means suppose whoever is the holder may be the original holder, or it may be any endorsee. The endorsee can also become holder, either the endorsee or the holder of the bill itself, if they will crossing out the signature on the instrument, or by physically destroy the instrument, then the instrument shall be called discharge by cancellation. Understand or not?
Sir, one example.
One example. You see, suppose I have received a check from you, and before its presentment, what I have done, I have burnt it. I have burnt the check. Intentionally, I have burnt the check. Then it is called a cancellation of the check. Okay, or cancellation of bill. Or otherwise, what will happen? Wherever the
Insufficient balance with cancellation ହେବ.
Yes, that I am also telling. This is one of the mode. आप इसे destroy कर सकते हो, और क्या कर सकते हो? Wherever the signature of the party is mentioned in the instrument, it may be check or bills of exchange or promissory note. If you cross out the signature, इसका मतलब signature के ऊपर एक cross suppose डाल दोगे आप, तो इसका मतलब ये इंस्ट्रूमेंट आपका कैंसिल हो गया. ओके, ये कैंसलेशन होने से क्या होता है? डिस्चार्ज ऑफ द बिल. ये बिल पूरा डिस्चार्ज होता है. नो पार्टी इज लायबल टू द इंस्ट्रूमेंट इटसेल्फ नाउ. ओके.
Yes.
Another is that by discharge as a simple contract. जैसे कि एक नेगोशिएबल, देखो कोई भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जैसे डिस्चार्ज होता है, दैट मीन्स आइदर बोथ द पार्टीज विल परफॉर्म देयर ड्यूटीज, एंड हियर क्या होता है कि एनी पार्टी कैन डिस्चार्ज हिज ड्यूटी, एंड अनदर पार्टी कैन आल्सो बी allowed not to fulfill his obligation, and the contract will ceases to exist. In the same way also, if in a negotiable instrument there are different parties, if one party will perform its duty and the other party will renounce their duties, then also it is called, by discharge of a simple contract, the bill of exchange is discharged. Okay. Now we'll discuss where
सर एग्जाम्पल बताइए ना.
example ना. हाँ, मैं example दे देता हूँ. If you see, if a bill of exchange is not presented for the payment on the due date, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया कि आप जो बिल दिए थे कोई उसको पेमेंट नहीं, प्रेजेंट नहीं किया. That means the party not required that you are supposed to make the payment. और ड्यू डेट में भी प्रेजेंट नहीं किया और उसके बाद भी एक रीजनेबल पीरियड में भी ये नहीं किया. अगर चेक होता है तो उसका रीजनेबल टाइम क्या होता है? 6 मंथ होता है. सपोज मैं एक चेक आपको दिया और वो चेक को आपने रखा आपके पास, लेकिन 6 महीने के अंदर अंदर भी आपने उसको डिपॉजिट नहीं किया, तो इसका मतलब क्या है? आपको पैसा नहीं चाहिए. ठीक है, मुझे पैसा देना था इसलिए मैं आपको चेक दिया और चेक को आपने रखा और उसको एनकैश नहीं किया. दैट मीन्स यू डोंट नीड मनी. तो इसका मतलब ये आपका बिल डिस्चार्ज हो गया. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, अभी हम देखेंगे क्या होता है. जो आपका पार्टी जो होते हैं, ये कभी कभार क्या होता है, जो जो ड्रायर होते हैं ये सिंगल पार्टी ना होके ये भी 2-3 पार्टी हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, 2-3 पार्टी भी हो सकते हैं. So ये अगर 2-3 parties हो गए, so how these parties will be discharged from these what duties or their duty of making the payment. तो इसमें कैसे डिस्चार्ज होता है? wherever more than one parties are there. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? if the drawer of the check are different parties, then how this can be discharged a bill. सेम थिंग बाय पेमेंट इन ड्यू कोर्स. अगर इसका पेमेंट कर दिया ड्यू डेट में तो ये डिस्चार्ज हो जाता है. और अगर ये कैंसल होता है, जैसे कि होल्डर ऑफ नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट अगर इसको कैंसल कर देते हैं तो भी ये डिस्चार्ज हो जाता है. और क्या होता है? बाय रिलीज. बाय रिलीज का मतलब क्या होता है? इफ द अदर पार्टी, दैट मीन्स द होल्डर ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट will release any of the party of the bills of exchange, then उसी पार्टी का जो ड्यूटी था ही इज रिलीव फ्रॉम दैट. दैट मीन्स उसके लिए डिस्चार्ज ऑफ द बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज हो गया. फॉर एग्जांपल, सपोज इन ए बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज 3 ड्रॉयर्स आर देयर, A, B, C. Okay, and the bill of exchange is for 12,000 rupees. Now I hold that bill. I hold that bill, and I had certain I had a what earlier received certain amount from A. So A's liability is how much? 4,000. Now if I'll give in writing that I excused A from the liability for making the payment of the bill. Okay, that means that person is now released, or for him discharge of the bill of exchange has been done. Understood?
Sir, actually not by discharge as a simple contract, ना?
नहीं, ये हो रहा है जो बाई पार्टी जब होते हैं. बाई पार्टी का मतलब क्या होता है? 2-3 पार्टी हो जाते हैं एक बिल में. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? जो ड्रायर होते हैं, ड्रायर एक पर्सन ना हो के 3 पर्सन अगर ड्रायर हो गए. ठीक
वो
है.
कैसे होगा सर?
हाँ, हो सकता है. वो बिल में more than one person can also be the parties. तो अगर
And
हुआ,
suppose one check you have given, there will be 3 owners of the check.
हाँ, अभी देखो जो चेक में दिया हूँ, सपोज वो जो चेक दिया है वो अकाउंट है, एक्चुअली हमारा जॉइंट अकाउंट है. ठीक है. तो
हाँ.
ये जॉइंट अकाउंट में क्या है? 3 पर्सन के नाम पर है, तो तीनों का सिग्नेचर उसमें डाला जाएगा. समझ में आ रहा है ना?
सर
सो
Yes, sir.
तीनों का सिग्नेचर अगर नहीं होता है तो ये वैलिड नहीं है. तो तीनों सिग्नेचर कर दिया और ये 12,000 का चेक मैंने आपको दे दिया. ठीक है. तो लेकिन पहले से क्या है कि आपको मेरे से 4,000 मिल गया है. किसी तरह से सपोज आपको मुझे 4,000 मिल गया और आपको मेरे से 4,000 जरूरत नहीं है. राइट. नाउ व्हाट
Okay.
यू नाउ व्हाट यू विल डू? you will give in writing that you have relieved me from the bill of exchange. तो उसी चेक से आपने मुझे रिलीज कर दिया, रिलीव कर दिया, ठीक है। तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, मेरे तरफ से क्या हो
नहीं
गया,
मतलब those 3 persons who signed the check, the 4th person told he will not take the money.
No, you are not able to understand. Suppose we have 3 persons, we have written the check, we have signed over the check, and you have received the check, right? And in the check, the check has been signed for 12,000 rupees. समझ में?
One thing I'm telling, sir.
Yes.
Suppose 3 persons signed in a check of 12,000.
Yes.
Then they have given to another one person.
Yes.
Then that another person told he has already taken money from these 3 persons.
These not 3 persons. Suppose from any one person.
Okay.
Okay. Now what he will do? Now he will give in writing. That he will give in writing that I have relieved A from making the payment.
Okay.
So that what will that first party, that is Mr. A, who has signed in the check, that party has been relieved, and for him this is what a discharge of the bill. That means what will happen again, other 2 parties, that means this check will subject to cancellation, and another check will be drawn, and this check will be drawn by another 2 parties, and those 2 parties shall make the payment of 8,000, not 12,000.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Okay, then that check will be cancelled and fresh check will be issued.
Yes. That means the first party has been relieved, discharged from his duty.
Because he has already received money, as he has given his consent not to take.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Another is by allowing the drawing more than 48 hours. So actually there is a limit of 48 hours, and within 48 hours, if the drawing will not make the instrument present for payment, then what will happen? In that case, it can be also all the parties to the bills of exchange are discharged from their duty. That means the bill shall be discharged. Okay.
Means, sir, example.
एग्जाम्पल हो गया, आप देखो सपोज वही चेक का अगर एग्जाम्पल दूं तो चेक का होता है टाइम, क्या होता है, चेक का टाइम होता है आपका 6 मंथ, ठीक है, चेक का 6 मंथ होता है। अगर ये चेक
चेक का 6 मंथ होता है या 3 मंथ है, थोड़ा क्लैरिफाई कीजिए।
क्या क्या क्या
चेक का जो टाइम होता है 3 मंथ होता है या 6 मंथ?
6 मंथ। ओके, सो विद इन दिस स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम, सपोज ये चेक को आपने प्रेजेंट नहीं किया, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया, सारे पार्टी जो है वो उनका ड्यूटी से वो सब डिस्चार्ज हो गए, और नो पार्टी इज सपोज टू मेक एनी पेमेंट टू यू, खत्म। अगर ये बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज होता है तो उसका डेट होता है 48 आवर्स। इसका मतलब 48 आवर्स के अंदर अंदर उसको प्रेजेंट करना है, उसका जो ड्यू डेट होता है, ड्यू डेट का 48 आवर्स के अंदर अंदर उसको प्रेजेंट करना है पेमेंट के लिए। इफ it has not been paid within that stipulated time, then the parties are discharged from their duties to the bills of exchange. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So someone has sent messages on chat box that's check valid only for 3 month from date of issue.
You see what it is Reserve Bank guidelines. Okay, according to the Reserve Bank guidelines, the validity period of a check has been decided. Earlier it was 2 months, then it was 3 months, and now it is 6 months. And in future it may be some time may be also changed. Okay, there is no issues, but according to the direction of your RBI, it is fixed what is the validity period of the check. Okay, so whenever you will receive any check from the any of your friend or anything, then please verify what is the time as per the RBI. Okay, within that stipulated time you are supposed to present it. ये 3 महीना हो सकता है, 4 महीना हो सकता है, 6 महीना हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, ठीक है. Then another
Yes,
is your
sir.
another point is that by material alteration. By material alteration का मतलब क्या हो रहा है? अभी सपोज मैंने आपको एक चेक दिया और बिफोर द ड्यू डेट सपोज हम दोनों ने डिसाइड किया कि एक्चुअली दिस चेक नीड टू बी ऑल्टरेशन, तो मटेरियल ऑल्टरेशन होगा. तो मटेरियल ऑल्टरेशन होगा इसका मतलब क्या होगा? we need to cancel that check and we need to draw a fresh check. That is why whenever there will be material alteration in the negotiable instrument, that means other parties to the first bill shall stand cancelled, so that there will be also a discharge of the liability. That is discharge
Sir,
of the
for
bill of
sir, example.
एग्जाम्पल में क्या है? अभी देखो सपोज मैंने एक चेक दिया आपको 30,000 का, राइट? वो 3 महीना का पीरियड था उसका. वो 3 महीने के अंदर अंदर if we have decided that now there is no necessity to make this check of 30,000, it should be of 50,000. So what we will do that in that case? Either we will cancel that check or we will make one agreement that instead of this check, another fresh check will be issued for 50,000. So in this case, what will happen? The first check that will be stand cancelled. That means all the parties or the parties to the bills of exchange are discharge of their duties. समझ में आया?
Yes.
Sir, can
Okay.
you explain it once again?
ओके अभी देखो क्या हुआ कि मैं सपोज आपको एक चेक दिया था 30,000 का, ठीक है? अभी क्या हुआ बिफोर डेट ऑफ द प्रेजेंटमेंट, suppose we have discussed that there is no necessity of encashing this check. Let us do another check of 40,000 or 20,000, whatever may be as per our discussion. Then either we may cancel that check or we may do one agreement in which it will be mentioned that the particular check, that means giving the check number and details, will mention there that this check shall be cancelled and a fresh check shall be issued by me for 30,000, for 40,000 or 20,000, whatever may be. In that case, what will happen? The first check is supposed to be cancelled. That means the parties to the first check shall be stand cancelled, and it is called your discharge of the bill.
Yes, sir.
Understood? So I think we have covered most or everything regarding the Negotiable Instrument Act. Now we will go to the next, that is Unit 4. Unit 4 में है आपका क्या? Consumers Protection Act, right?
Sir, kindly possible question.
Possible questions. Okay, I am discussing a few questions. Okay, so here you see what are the possible questions. The first question can be what is a negotiable instrument and what are its essential features? It will be one question. Then another question, what is bills
Sir,
of exchange?
repeat it once again.
Sir, slower कौन सा चीज note करूँ?
Okay. First you can write what is a negotiable instrument and what are its essential characteristics. हो गया?
And sir, and what are the
And what are its essential characteristics? हो गया?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. And next question is there, what is the bills of exchange?
Bills of exchange.
What are its essential characteristics?
Yes, sir.
And how does it differ from promissory note?
And how?
And how does it differ? How does it differ from promissory note?
Yes, sir.
Next
Yes, sir.
question. Next question. What is a check?
Yes.
How it differs from bills of exchange and promissory notes?
How it differs from?
What is a check? And how it differs from bills of exchange and promissory note?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Who are the important parties to a negotiable instrument?
So who are the?
Who are the different parties to a negotiable instrument? Here, how you are supposed to answer? First, you write bills of exchange, the parties to the bills of exchange, then promissory note, the parties to the promissory note, and then the check and the parties to the check, right?
So can you repeat the question once again?
Who are the different parties to a negotiable instrument?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the last question, that is, describe different modes of discharge of liabilities. Describe different modes of discharge of liability.
Different mode of?
Different modes of discharge of liability of parties with regard to liability of parties with regard to a negotiable instrument.
With regard to?
A negotiable instrument. Which just we have discussed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us go to the Consumer Protection Act.
Sir, no, sir.
Okay.
Unit 2, sir, Unit 2, possible question, please.
That we'll discuss in the next class. Actually, today we need to, because you see, we have a very limited time. That is why we need to also touch this.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Today we have a 15 minutes, and we should try to use that. Okay. You see
Okay,
this,
sir.
what a Consumer Protection Act. This Consumer Protection Act came into effect from 15th April 1987. But this is the Consumer Protection Act 1986. This act is 1986, but it came into effect from 15th April 1987. Okay. So what is this Consumer Protection Act? Actually, meaning of the actually this act is particularly meant to give protection to the consumers. That is why here the important thing, we should understand what is a consumer according to the Consumers Protection Act. There is a definition under section 2 subsection 1 and clause D of this act, that is Consumer Protection Act. The word consumer has been defined. This is what a little bit elaborative. That is why I had made it point wise. The first point of this definition says that a person who buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised to be paid. That means what? A person who buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised to be paid. And it also includes any other user of such goods when such use is made with the approval of the buyer. Suppose I have purchased the good, I can use it so that I will become a consumer, or I can allow it to use by others so that others shall also become the consumer. But it does not include a person who obtains such goods for resale or for any commercial purpose. If I had purchased that goods for resale or for any other commercial purpose, then I will not be considered as a consumer. You understand the first point of
Yes,
this?
sir.
Okay, and the second point is that a person who hires or avails any service for consideration which has been paid or to be paid later on, or any other beneficiary of such service with the approval of the first mentioned person. That means, suppose I have hired certain services. That means, suppose I am giving you one example. Suppose I have hired a cab, but I allowed you to use that service. Then you can also be the consumer for that. I may be the consumer, you can also be the consumer for that. Okay, but a consumer does not include a person who avails such services for any commercial purpose. If I have used it as a commercial purpose, that means what? Suppose what? I am hiring the cabs and I am again letting you on hire. Then it is commercial purpose. समझ में आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you understand this definition. This definition, actually I have segregated this definition into two parts. One is regarding the water goods and another part is regarding your services. That means a person who buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised to be paid later on, and include any other user of such goods who can use the good or who use these goods with the approval of the buyer. But it does not include a person who obtains such goods for resale or for any commercial purpose. It is the first point. And the second point is that a person who hires or avails any services for consideration which has been paid or to be paid later on, and any other beneficiary of such services with the approval of the first mentioned person can be dealt as a consumer. But a consumer does not include a person who avails such services for any commercial purpose. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But you see, many cases are coming to these consumer courts. That is why the cases as the cases are becoming more, so the courts, they have also included some more thing into this definition. Few things are also added to the consumer definition. What are they? First one is a railway passenger is a customer or consumer. Second one, an employee who is a member of an employees provident fund is also a consumer. Next, a person registering himself for LPG, जो होता है आपका जो गैस होता है कुकिंग गैस, it can also be a consumer, and a person using electricity for commercial purpose is also a consumer, and a nominee under a policy of insurance is also a consumer. So these are the few points which are added by the courts from various cases. Okay, now you understand what is the clear-cut definition of this consumer.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll discuss what is unfair trade practice. Unfair trade practice, actually it is a major part of your this Consumer Protection Act. That is why we should understand what is unfair trade practice. This has been defined under section 2 subsection 1 and clause R of the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Here you see we can discuss this unfair trade practice on various points, because as it is a very huge one, So this definition we cannot tell in few lines so that you will understand everything. That is why we need to discuss it in points. So first point is your misleading advertisement and false representation. What? Misleading advertisement and false representation. तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है? ये मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट क्या होता है, फॉल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन क्या होता है? तो इसमें कुछ सब पॉइंट्स होते हैं. ये सब पॉइंट्स जो फर्स्ट सब पॉइंट है दैट आई एम डिस्कसिंग, falsely representing that goods or services are of a particular standard, quality, quantity, grade, composition, style और model. इसका मतलब क्या है? गुड्स का जो स्टैंडर्ड है, जो क्वालिटी है, जो क्वांटिटी होता है, जो ग्रेड होता है, उसका क्वांटिटी जो है, उसका सपोज क्वांटिटी कुछ ज्यादा दिखा है, उसका जो
सर यू आर नॉट
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
ऑडिबल.
ओके
सर 2
ओके, आई एम
मिनट
ट्राइंग.
सर 2 मिनट से आप मतलब आवाज ही नहीं आ रही थी. आप
2
1
मिनट
मिनट
से आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
एक मिनट पहले.
अच्छा, अभी क्लियर हुआ?
यस सर, यस सर.
ओके, अभी देखो जो मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड फॉल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन जो बता रहा हूँ, इसका जो फर्स्ट पॉइंट है, ये फर्स्ट पॉइंट बोलता है कि अगर फॉल्सली, इफ द पर्सन, दैट मीन्स इफ द सेलर रिप्रेजेंट यू that the goods or services are of a particular standard, quality, quantity, grade, composition, style और model, और उसमें कुछ compromise करता है, तो ये आ जाता है आपका अनफेयर ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में. समझ में आ रहा है? इसका मतलब कोई गुड्स पर्टिकुलर स्टैंडर्ड, क्वालिटी, क्वांटिटी, ग्रेड, कंपोजिशन, स्टाइल और मॉडल, इस सब में अगर कुछ डिफरेंस आ रहा है, देन इट इज कमिंग अंडर योर अनफेयर ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस. और क्या हो सकता है? फॉल्सली रिप्रेजेंटिंग एनी सेकेंड हैंड और रीबिल्ड और रिनोवेटेड और रिकंडीशन ओल्ड गुड्स एज न्यू गुड्स. कभी कभार क्या होता है कि आप अगर जाते हो कहीं पर दुकान में, बोलते हो भाई एक मुझे नया टीवी चाहिए, लेकिन उसका कोई अगर कोई रीबिल्ड या सेकेंड हैंड या रिनोवेटेड या रिकंडीशनड टीवी है और वो आपको न्यू गुड्स करके आपको बेच दिया है, तो
यस सर, मेरे साथ एक बार हुआ है. सर यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल.
I'm not getting any response from you.
सर यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल.
Okay, I think some technical
Yes, sir.
difficult.
You are not audible, sir. You are not audible.
Actually, I am facing certain technical difficulties.
Right now is okay. Right now is okay,
Now,
sir. But
Okay.
previously, yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, now it's okay, na? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you see how the misleading advertisement and false representation. Here you see अगर कोई गुड्स आपको स्टैंडर्ड, क्वालिटी, क्वांटिटी, ग्रेड, कंपोजिशन, स्टाइल और मॉडल में कुछ कंप्रोमाइज करके दिया है, तो ये आपका आ जाता है रेस्ट्रिक्टिव ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में. ठीक है. और क्या हो सकता है कि कोई सपोज आप नया गुड्स खरीदने जा रहे हो और आपको वो कुछ सेकेंड हैंड, रीबिल्ट, रिनोवेटेड और रिकंडीशन गुड्स दे दिया है नया बता के, ये भी आ जाता है रेस्ट्रिक्टिव ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में. और क्या होता है, अगर कुछ फॉल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन हुआ ऑन पार्ट ऑफ द सेलर अबाउट द स्पॉन्सरशिप, परफॉर्मेंस, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द गुड्स और सर्विसेज व्हिच हैज बीन सप्लाइड, तो भी ये आ जाता है आपका व्हाट रेस्ट्रिक्टिव ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में. और क्या हो सकता है? फॉल्स और मिसलीडिंग रिप्रेजेंटेशन कंसर्निंग द नीड फॉर द यूजफुलनेस. जैसे कि ये एक पर्टिकुलर गुड्स को कैसे यूज किया जाए, अगर वो आपको कुछ मिसलीडिंग इंफॉर्मेशन देता है रिगार्डिंग द यूज ऑफ दैट प्रोडक्ट. सपोज एक प्रोडक्ट फॉर पर्टिकुलर पर्पज इट कैनॉट बी यूज्ड एंड द सेलर टोल्ड यू दैट इट कैन बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर दैट पर्पज, तभी भी ये हो जाता है आपका मिसलीडिंग रिप्रेजेंटेशन. ठीक है. सो ये सब आ जाता है मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड फॉल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन में. सेकेंड पॉइंट क्या होता है आपका offering gifts, prizes with the intention of not providing. तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है, कभी कभी देखते हो ना, जो होता है आपका गिफ्ट्स देते हैं, प्राइजेस देते हैं, लेकिन उनका इंटेंशन अगर नहीं होता है आपको देने के लिए, इसका मतलब क्या होता है, whatever the price of these gifts and everything, if it will be added to the price of the goods itself and it is not confirmed to you. अभी सपोज मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ, कोई कस्टमर आपको बोलता है भाई आप एक अगर टीवी लोगे तो उसके साथ आपको एक सीडी प्लेयर मिलेगा, फ्री में मिलेगा, लेकिन जहां तक देखा गया है कि ये जो टीवी का प्राइस है उसमें इंक्लूड किया है ये सीडी प्लेयर का प्राइस। अगर वो प्राइस इंक्लूड करके दिया है उसमें और आपको बोलता है कि आपको हमने फ्री में दे दिया है ये सीडी प्लेयर, तो ये आ जाता है आपका रेस्ट्रिक्टिव ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में। समझ में आ रहा है ना?
यस सर।
ओके। और एक भी पॉइंट है, नॉन कन्फर्मिंग टू द प्रेस्क्राइब्ड स्टैंडर्ड। अभी क्या होता है, आपको जो कुछ आपको पर्टिकुलर गुड्स चाहिए, पर्टिकुलर स्टैंडर्ड का चाहिए, और आपने उसको बोला भाई मुझे ये स्टैंडर्ड का गुड चाहिए, और वो आपको दे रहा है कि बोल रहा है कि आप जो स्टैंडर्ड का बोल रहे हो ये वही स्टैंडर्ड का है, लेकिन वहां पर वही स्टैंडर्ड का नहीं होता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल देखो, आपने गया सपोज एक हेलमेट लाने के लिए और उसको बोले भाई मुझे ISI सर्टिफिकेशन का चाहिए, वो आपको एक हेलमेट पकड़ा दिया, बोला कि ये IS सर्टिफाइड है, और लेटर ऑन यू आर फाइंड दैट व्हाट ये ISI सर्टिफिकेशन वाला बिना ISI वाला है, तो ये आ जाता है आपका रिस्ट्रिक्टिव ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में। समझ में आ रहा है ना?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
और लास्ट पॉइंट होता है होर्डिंग और डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ गुड्स। होर्डिंग का मतलब क्या होता है? होर्डिंग का मतलब क्या होता है? क्रिएटिंग टेम्पररी शॉर्टेज। एक्चुअली मार्केट में शॉर्टेज नहीं है, लेकिन वो क्या बता रहा है कि भाई मेरे पास गुड्स नहीं है इसीलिए उसका रेट ज्यादा है। कभी कभी क्या होता है, अभी देखो जो पोटैटो, आलू का रेट, आलू का भाव जो होता है, आलू का भाव अभी आसमान छू रहा है। अभी देखो कोई 60 में, कोई 70 में, कोई 80 में बेच रहा है, तो उसको अगर बोलोगे भाई इतना क्या प्राइस है, ना आलू तो नहीं है मार्केट में नहीं है, मेरे पास भी नहीं है। जहां तक वो क्या है, उसका अगर गोडाउन देखोगे तो गोडाउन में बहुत सारा माल है, लेकिन वो टेम्पररी शॉर्टेज आपको क्रिएट कर रहा है और सिनेरियो बता रहा है, तो उसके लिए वो भाव बढ़ा रहा है, तो ये भी आ रहा है आपका रिस्ट्रिक्टेड ट्रेड प्रैक्टिस में। और कभी कभार ये क्या करते हैं कि आपको ये शॉर्टेज के लिए वो भी कुछ गुड्स जो उनके पास होता है उसको डाल देते हैं, क्या करते हैं, नष्ट कर देते हैं, यानी कि डिस्ट्रॉइंग द गुड्स। अगर द सेलर इज डिस्ट्रॉइंग द गुड्स टू क्रिएट टू वेस्ट द मार्केट, इसका मतलब मार्केट को खराब करने के लिए और उसका जो प्राइस का डिमांड को अफेक्ट करने के लिए, सो दिस इज ऑल्सो कमिंग अंडर योर restricted trade practice. Okay, you able to understand what are coming under this definition of restrictive, monopolistic and restrictive trade practice? ये सब आ जाते हैं। Okay, so in the next class
सर और एक पॉइंट भी है, बार्गेन सेल। सर
another we'll take your class now.
सर और एक पॉइंट भी है, बार्गेन सेल।
हाँ, bargain sale भी एक point है, but that is not important. That is why I had not covered that. Okay, it's not necessary. It is not necessary that you will write all the points. You can write all the important, whatever the important points discussed. कभी कभार एक दो पॉइंट छूट जाने से भी कोई नहीं है, लेकिन जितना पॉइंट आप लिखोगे तो उसको ठीक से समझाना बड़ी बात है। ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
Okay. So now I am leaving for the class. Actually, I have another assignment. So who is your teacher? Next teacher, or I will become the host. It is a management department is also in the host. That is why I am leaving the class. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर, हैव अ गुड डे।